This video was brought to you by Stormberg, ABRP Planner, MisterGreen, Kempower and Marcus Bil. Yo, what's up? We are now sitting in the fat e-tron Black Edition, and in this video we're gonna do what we already did, the ASMR part. But if I actually, that would be kind of funny if I actually made, let's say, a half an hour ASMR driving video without saying anything. Maybe I should do that one day. Yeah. I could do like an interior review without saying anything. I should have done it for 1st of April, but I didn't crack any April Fools this year, but okay. So what is this Black Edition Fat e-tron then? Well, first of all, maybe I should explain that I call it Fat e-tron because there are so many different e-tron variants. We have e-tron 55, e-tron 50, e-tron 60, e-tron S, e-tron S is 60. We have Audi A4 e-tron, Q7 e-tron, e-tron GT. There are so many e-trons. So this one is the fat e-tron because instead of saying e-tron 55, e-tron 50, I just say fat e-tron. E-tron 60 also. But yeah, so what is the black edition? It's just, actually I'm not sure. I had to look online, but we have some, no, not yellow, orange calipers, orange seat belt. I wonder if this steering wheel is perforated over here. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it black, but other than that, oh yeah, there's also some trim here, I think. But nothing really outstanding. It's just okay. There's a little bit of variant. So, but yes, this is an old car. It's I think it's around 3 years old now. So in the EV world, that's getting old. So so yeah, in that regard, nowadays we have cars coming out. Let's say the competitors like BMW iX. Has bigger battery and charges faster, yeah, more range of course, and also doesn't seem to be that thirsty as this one, but still, yeah. But on the other hand, I already tested this car recently now on a 1,000 kilometer challenge, and it turns out that even today, even 3 years after it was introduced, it still kicks ass for the Lord when it comes to long trips. It can charge nice and flat. Even today's cars, I even tested against a BMW i4 has slightly smaller battery, but the iX is, yeah. But even against today's cars, EVs, they still don't charge 140 kilowatt until 80% or roughly there. Actually, it's not really that. It's 150 kilowatt until 69%. That's what I measured. And then it starts throttling, but nice and flat charging curve, and that makes it good for long trips. So yeah, so, and also that's probably why this car is so popular in Norway, because so many people, they have faith in Audi. But okay, the video now I should try to demonstrate and talk about the car and my own experience with it. So I want to try to focus on that part. So one thing I can say is that the auto steer is pretty good. As you can see, it's doing a very good job of staying in the lane, but staying in the lane alone is not the most important. Well, it's one of the most important jobs, of course, but also not doing those micro adjustments like I'm overdoing it, so you can see, like the Volvo is doing. Like even the EV6 brand spanking new car, and also the Ioniq 5, they tend to micro adjust all the time. This one doesn't do it, which is great. But sometimes when it comes to auto steer, sometimes it just loses it. Here it will probably do it just fine, but you can see now I'm not holding a steering wheel, just to demonstrate that it works quite well. And also in general, the comfort of the adaptive cruise control is also very good. It doesn't do any hard braking or hard acceleration like Tesla tends to do. In general, I think it just feels like a rock solid electro auto from Germany. So, like, for example, it doesn't ding you or bother you with annoying beeps. Well, except for a few ones when you have low battery, and then you beep, like yeah. Well, that truck is smelly. But that's what I like about German cars, is that in general they, unlike the Korean cars, the German cars, they are quiet. Well, I mean, okay, good soundproofing wise, but also when it comes to sounds, especially Mercedes and the BMW, they're really good at that. The chimes in the BMW are some of the most pleasant chimes you can ever find in any car, whereas I feel like the Korean cars or some of the other cars, they tend to have chimes that are annoying. This one also nice, most of it, but yeah, pretty much all the chimes and everything good. But what is not so good is the range. So the range has since start, but when this car came out, it was competing against Tesla. It's still competing against Tesla, but nowadays it's also competing against the BMW iX, against maybe the MEB cars, against the Mach-E. So there's lots of competitors today that weren't there 3 years ago. But most other cars I mentioned now, they have better range than the fat e-tron. So practically you get, well, depending on how fast you drive, but you get roughly 250 to 400 kilometers range. Actually, maybe not even 400 kilometers range, but like 370, 380 kilometers range. So it's kind of short compared to today's cars that have 450, 500 kilometers of range in the similar price range, or maybe even lower. But of course, you then have to sacrifice something like comfort or something. But so just going to be honest now that what this car does very well is that the feel of the material, the look, the design. When you close the door, I can't do that now, but the feel and steering, the feel on the knobs, everything just feels and looks great. Okay, except for the freaking chrome everywhere and the piano finish that reflects all over the place. You know, I normally don't complain about it because most cars, they have a little bit of chrome here and there, but this one has so much and it reflects in my face so much. That's why I complain about it. So, but yeah. So that's what you get in the e-tron. You get that premium feel. I wouldn't say it's luxurious. Then you probably have to move into something like EQS, but still very nice and tight on everything. And also, of course, the soundproofing, because I've tested it. This one just happened to have 19-inch wheels. I've tested several e-trons in the past with some of this is with the tires. This one, actually, this car I borrow now is not the most quiet one because probably because it has 21-inch wheels, and the Nokian Hakkapeliitta R3 they are noisier than the Continental, I feel like. So yeah, but really in general, I think that e-tron might be one of the most quiet cars that they just haven't had a chance to verify with the 19-inch yet, but it's just top there. It's there with EQS, with iX roughly, yeah, and ES8. You know, it's just really in the top notch when it comes to soundproofing. It's just so quiet. To put things in perspective, a noisy Model 3 at 80 kilometers per hour has roughly the same noise level as this car at 120 kilometers per hour. That's how quiet it is. And also, this is probably why so many Norwegians buy this, because I think Norwegians, they have money. You know, we are a rich oil country, and we don't pay VAT or tax on electric cars. So, is it gonna? Okay, let me just. Yeah, I anticipated that. But so. I think many Norwegians, they are used to the premiumness of German cars, and that's why they want this, and they don't care too much about range. And actually 3 years ago, when the car came out, we didn't have that many high power chargers in Norway. So actually back then, owning a fat e-tron could be a little bit cumbersome, but I think people, they were willing to look past that disadvantage, and they still bought it, probably because many Norwegians are brand loyal. So, and also I remember one thing I complained about back in the days was the charge port placement. When you had those tritium chargers with short cables, I really had to struggle to park close enough to the charger to plug it in. But that one, fortunately, those chargers are less common nowadays. And we have more and more Ioniq and Delta chargers and all that stuff. So it's not really that big of a disadvantage anymore. Plus that it seems like those charging point operators, they've been extending the cables now, because that was actually I think it was a NEC 400 or whatever it's called. Tech 400, I don't remember. It was some kind of requirement back in the days that the cables needed to be short so they wouldn't hit the ground. But then they kind of loosened up on that since then. So in a way, you can say that the disadvantage of owning a fat e-tron, which is that it's fat, it's thirsty, it has short range. 3 years ago, that was a valid and somewhat important disadvantage. Today, it's not that big of a problem anymore. So actually, in a way, you can say that the car has been getting better. Not the car itself, but the things around it, the charging network, has been getting better. So it's not that big of a problem anymore. But however, when it comes to the high consumption, I actually feel it, because this car is so thirsty. It typically, depending on where I drive, but I usually average 250 to 350 watt-hour per kilometer. And it is so much higher than many other cars I drive that I only have 16 amp in the garage. So normally, most cars I test nowadays, let's say the Volvo C40, it has around 70-ish kilowatt-hour battery, and also the range is fairly okay. And also more efficient car like Tesla. Then when I plug it in at night, then the next morning I'm good. But with this car, I plug it in at night, and then I see in the estimation it will finish in 24 hours, not tomorrow morning, but tomorrow evening. I'm like, huh? What? And then I can only down 250 to 300 kilometers, 350 to 370 kilometers on that full charge. So. But again, if you have fast enough power, or if you have fast enough charging at home, because I only have 16 amp, 3.7 kilowatt. If you have 7.4 kilowatt at home, no problem. Then whatever. But you just have to keep in mind that this car is thirsty. It's always going to be thirsty. But it seems like many owners, they offset it by driving slow. So I guess that's a way to do it. Yeah. But okay, I'm going to test something here. We have air suspension as standard on fat e-trons. So we have these Birger and Haug speed bumps. Oh, okay. It has its bounce. I have set it in comfort mode. Yeah, so it bounces a little bit. I think the EQS was the exception. It just kind of floats over it, but that was just remarkable how the EQS was. But this one has that little bounce. Okay, let me see. That guy is not moving anywhere. What shit? Where are you going? Okay. So, but it's still good because it doesn't break your spine when you go over that speed bump. I'm gonna try go back, but this time I think I'm gonna try to standardize the test, which is that this time I will enter it at an angle. See what happens then. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, because then we actually test how it does it because when the car tends to sway sideways because it's an SUV crossover, then you get that sideways movement also. So that's another thing I wanted to point out, is that this car, the suspension is very comfortable. It tends to just floats over the bumps, which is nice, but it has that SUV feel over it. You see, like when I do this, you know, it feels like a boat compared to many other cars. EV6 is tight, like almost like a sports car. For example, the recent car, Volvo C40, also feels so tight. I love the ride on the C40. That's my type of ride. But of course, many people, they like this kind of SUV thing. So I'm not going to just blow it off and say it's shit. No, I'm just saying that this has the SUV ride, the somewhat boat ride. So you know what you are going for, you know. But here, okay, it used to be bumpy, but they just recently paved it, so we can't test the bumpiness that much. But one thing that annoys me with the Audi, and they have not fixed this yet, I consider it like a lack of, and it's not a bug, but when you put the car, I mean, when you enter cruise control and you disable cruise control, the car will by default go to no region. Like not right now, it has no region. And I have to use the pedal shifter every time to increase the region, because I prefer having one pedal drive. But I can't show you in the display right now, but even when I tap this, let me see how it is again. No region, one tap, two tap, yeah, two taps, and you get fairly good region, but it's not the maximum region. This car, Audi brags about that it has so good region, so many, over 200 kilowatt region or something. The fat e-trons everywhere here, holy shit. but you can't get it. I feel like many other cars nowadays, they have way stronger regen, and again, this is a matter of taste. I prefer having strong regen. Wait, this sign is still here. What the? It's a 50 zone over here. Shit, you forgot your sign here. No, but so I prefer having stronger regen, and in most cars I test, they allow you to choose. But with this one, you cannot choose. Or I mean, you can only go 2 steps down. But if you press the brake, you can then, it has a blending brake, then you can activate stronger regen to achieve that 220, or I don't remember how many kilowatt it was, 200 something kilowatt regen. You have to use the brake pedal. But many times, so let's see now, if I just let go now, okay, it decelerates fairly fast, but I wish it was even faster. So of course, many people, they don't like this kind of behavior. I fully understand it, but I prefer it. So why can't we choose? And also, why the heck is it that every time you activate the cruise control and then you deactivate it, it defaults to no regen? Why? Let the user choose, not force them into something they don't like. So, but okay, other than that, ride is good. We have some lights here. Infotainment here is so-so. I mean, it's nice. We have 3 screens, and if you want to search for something here, yeah, this is also something I don't like. When you want to search for something while driving, you can only write down here. O-S-L-O. But it does a pretty good job of recognizing it. But I think that the writing is so slow, and it kind of takes my focus away anyway, because I have to actually write the letters, and I kind of look over to see if it interprets right. Also, let me try also city. Okay, space is this way. Yeah. Okay, city. No wait, no. I should. Okay, I can even misspell. Why? City. I misspell city. It should find out that. Maybe not. I think I misspelled something. Yeah, no wait. Yeah, it because it's the power of Google. I misspelled also city, but it managed to find it. So that's actually a big plus. Okay, let's go back. Let's not fiddle around with infotainment here too much. Okay, I'm driving the same stretch, but let me go back here. So, maybe not much else to say, right? I don't want to make this video too long, but I fully understand people who buy this car. It's an awesome car. It rides well. I don't know how to describe it, but the way the car drives, it has this premium feel of everything. When you turn the steering wheel, when it goes over bumps, it has this nice deep sound, everything. And I think that's what appeals to people. They want to put it this way, you know, they want to drive a proper car. They don't want to drive an iPad on wheels, if you know what I mean. Because Teslas or some other cars, they don't give that same feeling. So it's all about feelings, right? When you let me go this way. I changed my mind. So yeah, what else is to say? Normally I would just be talking a lot. Oh yeah, one thing though. When you put the car in drive, it will be defaulting to, well, D. But then in the display, it shows as 80% power. And then you have to tap it again or use the drive select and then choose dynamic to get the boost. And the boost function is only available under certain conditions. But I've seen that as long as the battery is warm enough, then you have boost all the way to 20% roughly. Below 20%, then you have reduced power. And also, by the way, this car, when it gets close to, or when you dip below 10%, then it starts getting sluggish. When you go as low as 5% and below, it becomes really sluggish, but not as sluggish as the Volvo. The Volvo was really sluggish towards the end, also roughly below 5%. So just And yeah, so the boost is there, but if the battery is cold, then you don't have boost. So then I don't know how many horsepower you have, but you're supposed to have a little over 400 horsepower with the boost. Without boost, maybe 300 something, right? So it kind of makes the car not so fast without boost. Now, if you don't have the boost active, if I just try to hammer it, yeah, it has that delay. I remember I pointed out that delay already 3 years ago when I was testing this car. And then back then it was mainly just e-tron and Tesla. And then all the Audi fanboys, they were criticizing me and saying that he doesn't like the car because everything that is not like Tesla, it's not good for him. And yeah, but I still claim today that this delay here, why do we even have that delay? It's an electro auto. It's not a fossil. And even if you put the car in S, yeah, it goes, okay, maybe it's a little bit better. Yeah, it's actually a little bit better there. So, but it still has that delay. I just want to have the instant feel when you have it in sport mode at least, but it doesn't have it. But also what I should point out is that this is not a fast car. And this car doesn't even have the panorama roof, so it's not that heavy. This is not the heaviest fat e-tron I tried. And it's not that fast. So if you look in the acceleration table, you will see that it does 0 to 100 in around 5.7 seconds. And yeah, I guess I have to try the e-tron S one day maybe, which will probably be the thirstiest EV ever. But so it's not a fast car, but it's quick enough for daily stuff. But even against the Volvo C40 I tried recently. Yeah, I should also point out, by the way, I recently tested the Volvo C40, and I instantly loved the way it drives. It was just my type of car, you know, the way it accelerated. It was pretty quick. It went tight around the corners. It didn't sway like a boat, you know. And yeah, and the infotainment was okay. It's Google based and stuff. And then I just remember when I returned that car the same day, and then I just travel a little bit with Nyland Falcon, and I pick up this one. So the time between driving the Volvo and driving this one was fairly short. And just to put things in perspective, when I came in here and I started driving it, the three things I think I noticed was that, whoa, this one feels like a boat. And this one is significantly slower, about almost a second slower than the C40. But this car was way more quiet. Of course, it's one of the most quiet EVs. So those are three things I noticed. But you see, this is not me talking about, oh, but you know, yeah, I want that speed, yeah, hammer it. No, but for most people, they don't give a shit about that speed. They might not even use S mode. They just use they don't use boost. So for them, no problem. Yeah, but for some people, they want that. That's why they buy Tesla. That's why some people buy the e-tron S even. They don't care about the consumption. That car is freaking thirsty. But at least that's my observation of this car. But do I enjoy driving it? Yes, I like it. I like driving it. You know, I said it many times before, and well, I'm not sure if it's valid anymore, but back in the days, 3 years ago, I said that e-tron would probably be one of my choices if I wouldn't buy a Tesla, because back then I prefer Tesla. I'm not sure anymore nowadays. There's so many options if you need some spacious car, because over the years I kind of started to get a little bit fed up with the Model X, because there were so many troubles with the doors and everything. Yeah. But yeah, so it's a good choice still, the fat e-tron. And even today, I think it's still very competitive. But however, I feel like the fat e-tron is getting old, it's getting outdated. The battery, okay, you have freaking 95 kilowatt hour battery, which is more than the MEB cars like ID4 or Skoda Enyaq. But those cars, they have more range because they are more efficient. So even though they don't charge as fast as fat e-tron, they can still match fat e-tron on 1,000 kilometer challenge. That's where it matters. Not how many kilowatt you are receiving. And also, the fat e-tron, I don't know what's up with that, but the hood here is just so humongous. And the whole car in general is quite big. But as I've tested with banana box test, which is like a not scientific test, but there are indications that the fat e-tron has roughly the same space as an Ioniq 5 or Skoda Enyaq ID4, EV6 maybe, and even the Q4 e-tron. And those are smaller car external wise, but internally you have roughly the same space. So then what is the point of buying a big car just because it's big outside? You buy a big car because you want more space, right? Well, there could be other things, that the big car just happen to have towing capacity or something. But so yeah, what is the point of e-tron? Well, I think there's still a point of e-tron because this kind of interior here you find here is not on the same level as the Q4 e-tron, and especially not on the ID4. But I just wish they could redesign it to be more efficient and to utilize the space better. But I think that's not going to happen. They will probably just make some kind of refresh e-tron with bigger battery. They might use actually a different drivetrain and platform, and then it will become better. I'm not sure, was it a PPE platform? Yeah, so that might be the way to go. Body design. But still today, will I recommend e-tron? Yes, absolutely. But you just have to know the plus and the minus with the fat e-tron. So, but it's not a bad car, but it's also not the perfect car. So I think even today I haven't found the perfect car. Like, okay, Model 3 for example, it has limitation in it doesn't have a lift gate. I mean, it doesn't have a roof. I mean, the back door is not big enough. It doesn't have a hatch. It's kind of noisy. The ride is not the best, but it's super efficient. It has good range. It has a nice tech, but it lacks many things. The Porsche Taycan rides like a dream, but it's kind of cramped and can be a little bit inefficient. And wait, let me check over here. Are they done with the construction work? So yeah, maybe I should point out something, by the way, which is that I don't know if you guys hear it. This car has some significant motor noise, and for the longest time I tried to figure out if that is artificial or natural. I think it's natural. The way, I need to shut up now. You know what's funny? In an Audi, when you change lane without using blinkers, there is no warning anything. If you do that in some other cars, they would be like, This is like, it is as if the Audi designers wanted it. They wanted people to change lane without using blinkers. No, but you hear that sound. Is it bothering me? No, because that sound has somewhat low frequency, and it's actually nice to have that feedback. And since it's natural sound, then I don't mind. If it's fake sound, then for some reason for me, I guess it's just psychological, then I don't like it. But it's there. If you drive the BMW or the Mercedes, you don't hear the motor sound. They mask it out. Wait, was it like that in BMW? But especially Mercedes, they didn't want to have any motor or inverter sound. I remember I talked specifically to some Mercedes people. They said they spend a lot of time in the EQC masking out the But here, is it a problem with the motor sound? No, I don't mind, but it's there. Because I remember I read about it in some Facebook group. They were wondering, hey, what is that sound? Is it supposed to be like that? Yes. But okay, maybe I should also mention, by the way, the headlights. Well, I mean, okay, I'm not done talking about this car. I need to give you guys as much input as possible. When it comes to the headlights, I'm a little bit disappointed. I did a headlight test, and I wasn't convinced. This is after I've been testing lots of headlights, and I've seen the good shit. BMW iX, freaking awesome. Volvo Polestar, top notch. Mercedes, very good. Tesla, very good but static. No adaptive stuff, no turning anything, but very good also. This one though seems not to be, you know, it doesn't light as bright and wide as the other ones, and they don't turn. But then you can. This is I've tested the matrix lights. They cost around 18k NOK, 1.8k euros, and there is another option that costs around 55k NOK or 5,500 euros. The digital LED matrix lights. I never tested it. I don't know how the heck I'm going to test it because I'm kind of. Well, that's a fat Taycan. Everything is fat nowadays. People, they like fat stuff. Norwegians, but. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the headlights, and also I was almost shocked to hear how expensive some of the equipments are. So, you know, this one I don't remember how it starts. The black edition 55 black edition starts at 730k in Norway, and then but I don't know if that is included blinkers. And once you have to add stuff, then it becomes more expensive. But yeah, I also. There was one time I borrowed that fat e-tron from my friend Nyland when I did the 1,000 kilometer challenge 2 years ago. I think that car was spec'd up to be over 1 million NOK. You can just check. This one doesn't have head-up display, for example. This one doesn't have acoustic glass. You know, once you start adding all the goodies, the car becomes almost as expensive as an EQS. So, but that's just how it is with Audi. They know that they can just name the price and people will pay for it. Whereas if you go for something not that German, let's say you get an EV6 or a Tesla or Mach-E, then you still get the range. You get, okay, not the same level of comfort, but still pretty good. But it will cost way less. Where are you going? I think it's good. What's up? So, yeah. So, and then why the heck am I retesting this car, by the way? I actually don't know. I think I wanted to retest the noise, but then by the end of the day, I got the car with 21-inch wheels. Okay. But you see, we have some bumpy roads here, but it just floats over the bumps nicely. And also, it just rides over. The suspension has a nice ride. Some suspensions tend to have a weird bounce. For example, the I-Pace, it has this weird after bounce. Maybe I should test I-Pace again. But actually, if I would test I-Pace, I might actually not say the same things about the I-Pace, because I still feel like I-Pace is getting outdated, and they haven't updated. It was not charging that fast from the beginning. And the range is not that great, and the noise level is not that great. So I feel like today it's kind of madness to buy I-Pace unless you just want the Jaguar, because there are so many other options out there. But when it comes to the fat e-tron, it does make sense to buy the fat e-tron, or in a way it makes more sense to buy the fat e-tron than to buy a Jag today. I don't know if you know what I mean. So but this car was a better option than the fat e-tron. My claim is that the fat e-tron was always a better car than the Jag, except for that the Jag is more nimble, because it's smaller. So that's of course that thing. But of course this car is also more expensive unless you go for the e-tron 50 and try to strip it down. But still, you will still get a better better spec I-Pace. But yeah, I still like the car, but oh shit, but the filtering here is kind of shit, because I can smell all that shit, like this car in front here. It's on auto recirculate, or auto, but I have to switch to manual recirculation. Let's see what happens now. Because when I did this in minus 5 degrees Celsius in Sweden, it took 30 seconds and then the windows started fogging like crazy. Now it's 1.5 degrees Celsius outside and we're not driving that fast. So now hopefully, yeah, now it doesn't fog. But that's probably not a big deal anyway. Oh shit, he's going that way. Oh shit, and I can't use the... Okay, but anyway, okay, let me just keep the recirculation on. Yeah, because when you recirculate, you let the air pass through the filter several times, and then you get rid of some of that shit in front. But yeah, I should end the video now. It's getting pretty long, and I didn't do too much testing. It's more like a... these videos have become more like a long speech rather than an actual test, because lots of those tests were already done in the other videos. So well, I'm just gonna park here in front of Folkets Kebab. Oh, there's a BMW iX. But yeah, okay. I need to also point out that if I would pay somewhere between 800 and 900k, for example, for something, some SUV or something in this segment, right? Is it getting darker? Yeah. If I would buy some SUV crossover with some space, with the ground clearance and all-wheel drive and air suspension, whatever, right? I might buy the Beaver instead, because the Beaver is more updated. It has more range. It has the same comfort. Okay, well, the thing about the Beaver is that it doesn't have this kind of interior. It has that minimalistic interior. So, but I can live with that, because then I get more range. It has faster charging. It has about the same efficiency. I haven't tested it head to head. It can tow more. It can tow 2,500 kilograms. This can tow only 1,800 kilograms. So you see, if I really needed to buy a car today in this segment, this e-tron has lots of competitors today. So that's why, at least for me, if I would go for e-tron, I will really have to defend it or try to, figure out why I should buy an e-tron and not any of the other cars, the more updated cars today. But yeah, but anyway, I think this is not going anywhere. But okay, anyway, so great car overall. Yeah, I like it. I like the stuff here. But again, yeah, okay. I should mention, by the way, the software here is also not the strongest point. There are things in here that I don't like, bugs or weird features. Like I'm not sure if it. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't now, but. Yeah, like this one. The music comes on when you don't want it to come on. Why? I consider it a bug, but some people say it's a feature, because when you put the car in backup mode, you want to adjust. Yeah, it's not doing it now, but it's doing it when you go here. You see? And the fact that it shows you gas prices on gas stations. Why? Right? And some of the stuff here is kind of clumsy implemented. But one thing. My small complaint is that when I tried this car 2 years ago, the car was something like this, and then when I came back to this car, not the same car, but you know, after 2 years, they almost haven't done anything. One thing they improved was that when you do this and you preheat here, if you have low state of charge back in the days, and you go to a fast charger, you have to wait until you have 20-30% before you can activate the heater. And actually, when you go to a fast charger, that's also something I noticed. When you plug it in and you DC fast charge, even though it says that the HVAC is on, you see 22 degrees Celsius, everything is automatic, you can feel that it's getting cold in the cabin. And I used the thermal camera to figure out that, yeah, we don't have any heat coming in here. So in order to get heat when you're DC fast charging, you have to go here and then click here, and then there's this one, and it says auxiliary air conditioning. Yeah, you have to activate the auxiliary air conditioning, then you get heat in the cabin. But then, okay, so that feature was, there was like it was poorly implemented before. I remember it was one guy, his name is Alexander. He used to own a fat e-tron. He complained because every time he went to a fast charge in winter and it was cold, he will have to, him and his family needed to freeze in the car because they didn't feel like going to the yachts or whatever, right? They had to freeze in the car for about 10 maybe 10 minutes before they reach the level where they can activate it. Or I don't remember how it was. Maybe you even had to disconnect. Yeah, and maybe that was also a bug, that even when you pass the threshold, you charge enough, but it will still not allow you to do that until you reconnect. Or so I don't remember if it was this car or the BMW actually. But so you see, what I'm saying is that the software on this car might not be the strongest point here, but the other things, the positive things with this car is so good that it still makes sense to buy the car. And yeah, the positive things overcomes the negative things. And of course, I always make fun of e-tron. I say e-tron go home because it is still one of the thirstiest cars out there. Just have to know that. And this trip around here we did, you guys saw roughly how fast we were driving. We averaged 250 watt-hour per kilometer. But okay, anyway, this has been a very long video, but I hope you guys like it. And please let me know, was it too long or something, or should I cut it down? But I think that's gonna be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching and talk to you later.